Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane has not surrounded his all-time quarterback with adequate talent. And he did not go out there and acquire a wide receiver or playmaker on the offensive side of the ball at the 2025 NFL trade deadline. That is why the Buffalo Bills lost in embarrassing fashion to the Miami Dolphins today, 30-13. And if you didn't watch the game in full, you might be saying to yourself, Tyler, why are you saying that? Shakir had 7 catches for nearly 60 yards. Keon Coleman got in the end zone. And yet, the Bills still lost by a lot. They fell behind in this game early, had to go to obvious passing situations, and their downfield passing attack once again let them down. Do you know what Mike McDaniel did when Khalil Shakir caught that touchdown down the sideline? It was 38 yards down the field. He beat his defender. Great play by Coleman. He benched the cornerback because of how embarrassing that it was. This is a mismanagement of resources, a misallocation of resources, just overall organizational malpractice by the Buffalo Bills. When you have a Hall of Fame quarterback in Josh Allen and you don't surround him with adequate talent, then you're not going to go out there and achieve what that quarterback wants to go out there and achieve. And that's winning a Super Bowl. This is a game against the Miami Dolphins where you seriously have to question if the Bills can win the Super Bowl or not. I'm going to ask you right now, can this Bills team win the Super Bowl? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. This Bills team got much worse news than the result of this game, 30-13. But how can you not feel sorry for Josh Allen? How can you not feel sorry for this guy? Time after time after time. He had time in the pocket. Good job having some protection by the Bills' offensive line today. That's a given. We're getting that every single week. But what we still also get every single week is Josh Allen holding the ball in the pocket or escaping the pocket and being flushed out and trying to make something happen with his legs and wait for the coverage to break downfield. And it can only do that so many times. And you can only have so many magical Johnny Football-esque plays from Josh Allen. At some point, somebody's got to get open. And that's not to say that Josh didn't have a bad play inside the 5-yard line through that pick, trying to extend the play on the tush push where he got the first down and more and then got the ball punched out. Sure, all those things happen. But it comes back to the same song and dance every single time. And that is that the Buffalo Bills might have the worst supporting cast, the worst group of weapons of any quarterback, of any offense in all of football. And the bad gets worse, folks. Yes. The Bills had an injury go down today that they probably cannot overcome. Dalton Kincaid goes down with a hamstring injury. Limped off the field on one of the downfield routes that he ran. He did have a big drop in this game that would have helped the Bills score before the half. But no ifs, ands, or buts. That Dalton Kincaid is the best separator on this team. He goes down with a hamstring injury, was ruled out for the rest of the game, and we do not have any more updates on it other than that. What I will say is he's out with a hamstring. That's probably a week or two injury. And guess what? The Bills have one of their best opponents that they'll be facing the rest of the season coming up next week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So major injury news for the Bills offense here. And Brandon Beane didn't go out there and acquire a wide receiver or any type of playmaking talent to make up for losing a guy like this to injury. Josh Palmer still out. Did not play in this game with an ankle injury. Will he be ready to go for the Week 11 game against Tampa Bay? I'm not holding my breath. Are the Bills going to have to call up Gabe Davis sometime soon? Judging by what they got from these three receivers, and yes, Keon Coleman caught a 40-yard touchdown. The Dolphins and their depleted secondary, they benched a guy because it was so embarrassing. I want to go back because shout out to Air Raid Buffalo who tweeted this out after the game. Said, I don't think people realize how bad Joe Brady's comments to some media members about Keon Coleman actually were. As Coleman here with 2 catches, 46 yards, and a score. He said, the situation is way worse than I thought. They are actively covering up their mistake or they're delusional. The comments they made were that they failed Keon Coleman. Not the other way around. Indicated they were going to force feed him the ball. Well, they got him some targets out there today. He got one. That's what Josh Allen said. Yeah, he got one. I see him jogging through slant routes. I see him not trying to create separation at the catch point. I see him really just not giving a shit as a football player. And the Bills don't want to admit that they made a mistake at the end of that first round, trading that pick away to Kansas City, who selected Xavier Worthy, who's been, I would say, light years more productive than Keon Coleman's been so far in his career. It's a bad mistake, and there are just some question marks surrounding the overall evaluation and the talent, I guess, assessment that the front office is making here, saying that this roster is good enough to go out there and win a Super Bowl. Tell you what, it wasn't. It's not. I just don't think it is. But that doesn't mean that we are going to stop covering your Buffalo Bills every single day. That's why you subscribe here to the Bills Breakdown. We just recently passed 8,000 subs, so thank you to everybody who's hit that sub button for free Bills coverage every single day. We're going to be live again next week like we just were for Dolphins versus Bills. We'll be live for Bucks versus Bills and every game the rest of the season into the postseason as well. But in between those games, we'll be uploading free videos right here on the channel. So hit that sub button and turn your notifications on so you know exactly when we post a video right here on the Bills Breakdown. The Dolphins were easily able to sniff out anything that the Bills wanted to do really on offense at all. They weren't able to run the football with James Cook, and that really boils down to the game script of this game. The Bills fell down 7-0 in this game, and then they fell down 13-0 in this game, and then they were down 16-0 in this game. So newsflash to Bills fans here, if Buffalo goes down and they are in obvious passing situations, not only will the run game not be doing well, but that's not the way the Bills are going to win football games. It is not indicative of a Super Bowl contender how dependent the Bills are on game script. If the Bills aren't winning, if the Bills don't go out there and score first, they're kind of cooked, especially when you consider this is a bad team they played. They played a bad Dolphins team, and I get it. They're missing Taron Johnson. They're missing Christian Benford. They're missing their best coverage linebacker in Shaq Thompson, and Matt Milano is washed. You're missing Ed Oliver. You're missing Michael Hoyt. You just got to go out there and take care of business, especially when the Patriots are going on the road, putting 30 up on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and coming out of there with a win. Teams are being lapped by the Bills as it stands right now. And not only does that bad news for Dalton Kincaid make things worse for the Bills, but yeah, they face more injuries at a key position group in this game. We're going to tell you about it in just a moment. First, though, I can tell you guys about these awesome deals. Chatsports.com/Buffalo sale to get yours today. These Bills shirts are at discount, and they are available in tons of shirts, sizes, combos, and so much more. This Josh Allen one with the frosted out jersey look is awesome. This retro look is cool as well with the gradient on the Bills text there. And this one of Josh diving for the end zone is electric as well. You can get all these at this link below. Chatsports.com/Buffalo sale to get yours today. That's chatsports.com/Buffalo sale. That link's in the comment section and description of today's video. Alrighty here, folks. We're going to see a lot more Javon Solomon as the year goes along. I thought Javon Solomon had a couple of nice plays throughout this game. But what I will say is that Landon Jackson of the Buffalo Bills, he went down with a knee injury, and I don't think he recorded any stats in this game. That's why I cannot find him in my stat sheet. So we will just go to the depth chart here for the Bills, which, it is extensive at the defensive line. You already have Ed Oliver and TJ Sanders on IR. You already have Michael Hoyt on IR as well. And now, after Daquan Jones comes back and had to play a little defensive end in this game because Landon Jackson went down. A.J. Epinesa is dealing with a concussion, and he did not play in this game. So, bad news for not only the Buffalo receiving core, but also the Buffalo defensive line here, that they are facing major injury, and none of it was addressed at the trade deadline. Awesome, Brandon Beane. Thank you so much for your contribution. So Landon Jackson left the game limping off, ended up going to the locker room, had to be helped off there, and he was wearing a brace, was on crutches after the game. So not good news at all. Oh my goodness. Sean McDermott asked if he still thinks the Bills are a championship roster. All he said was, I love these players. I really do. Sean McDermott, your own head coach, does not believe that your roster is championship caliber. That's a joke. And honestly, you can't fire people at 6-3, but when the offseason comes around, if and when the Bills fall short again in the postseason, a long look, a long thought process needs to be had by Terry Pacula, Bills ownership, people who make decisions in that ownership group, to just start anew, clean house, give Josh Allen a new look, because we all know he deserves it. With that being said, do you agree or disagree with the head coach of the football team, Sean McDermott? I'll ask you one more time. Can the Bills win a Super Bowl? So you had an embarrassing loss to the Miami Dolphins. You lose your best pass catcher in Dalton Kincaid, and you lose more depth along the defensive line in Landon Jackson, a guy who's getting healthy scratches anyway. Can this Bills team win a Super Bowl? Why for yes and for no? Let me know in the comment section. And make sure you are subscribed one more time to the Bills Breakdown. YouTube.com/Bills News for the latest and greatest on your Buffalo Bills the rest of the season, because the coverage does not stop. We'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, let's go, Buffalo.